Blue 42. Hut, height.
Metro Channel Sports presents the high school football game of the week. Tonight from Donnell Stadium in China Grove, it's the South Rowan Raiders taking on the Wonders from A.L. Brown. A very pleasant good evening, everyone. Along with Woody Kane, I'm Randy Whitley. We have a gorgeous fall evening for another classic battle between two arch rivals. This is actually number 41 in the series.
Yeah, and something has to give tonight, Randy, because Kannapolis has won 6 in a row from South Rowan, but the Raiders have a 9-game home winning streak on the line tonight, so one of those numbers has got to crash tonight.
You might say both teams coming off a loss, but the special teams, it's all plays a part. The emotion is going to be a big part. How do the Wonders react? How do the Raiders react at the opening kickoff?
I think they're both going to be really getting after tonight, Randy. This is the last non-conference game before they get into conference play next week when it really matters in terms of playoff seeding. I don't think they're going to have any trouble getting up for this game tonight. They both have good athletes. They both struggled the last couple of weeks, but who knows what's going to happen tonight. It could be either way.
And if you've been nursing an injury, probably not going to keep you out too much in this game.
No, as a matter of fact, we've documented Kannapolis having several injuries, but they're getting a few players back tonight, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later.
Okay, it all shapes up. And, of course, we've got about 10,000 people here as well. Shapes up as another great game. South and Kannapolis coming up. Raiders Stadium here, as you see, the gates opened at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is what it looked like before they opened those gates and started letting the first couple of fans in. And now this is what it looks like. Standing room only here at Raiders Stadium for another renewal of this series, which began all the way back in 1961. This will be meeting number 42, as we said. Kannapolis leads the series, 32 wins, 6 losses, and there have been 2 ties. Earlier, we had a chance to speak with the head coaches and see what the pulse of the teams coming into tonight's game. Woody caught up with head coach Rick Van Hoy.
Okay, thanks, Randy. Well, Coach Van Hoy, big game, huge crowd on hand. What kinds of things are you telling your guys to focus on in this contest tonight?
Well, the same things we talked about all week. We've got to have a quick start, avoid the turnovers, and take care of the kicking game. And those are things that have really hurt us the last couple of weeks. Didn't hurt us early in the season. We've got to get back to that.
How concerned are you about putting 4 quarters together tonight? Because last week you really did come out fast, and then it got away from you.
Right, exactly. We've got to stay consistent throughout the game. Like I said, we had a great first quarter. We played great defense, put 2 touchdowns on the board offensively, and then we just kind of fell away. And we've got to make sure we play the whole football game, because I'm sure Kannapolis is.
If there's one stat we can watch for tonight, other than the score, that's going to dictate the outcome here, what might that be?
Passing, I think. They do a great job of mixing it up, and we've got to be able to limit them in both in passing or running, and we can't afford to let them just throw the ball down the football field on us, because once they do that, that loosens up, and all of a sudden they'll start running. With a guy like Chris Carter back there, you better be on your toes the whole time. And for us, if we're having to throw a lot of passes, we're in trouble.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot, and good luck tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, Randy, back to you.
South Rowan 3-2 overall, winning their first 3 games of the season, only to lose a tough one last week, as Coach Van Hoy alluded to. We're just a few minutes away from tonight's opening kickoff, and earlier Woody had a chance to catch up with one of the other assistant coaches for A.L. Brown, Jeremy Ryan.
Okay, thanks, Randy. Well, Coach, everybody is aware of you guys' injury situation, but you're starting to get some players back. Who can we look for tonight?
Well, Rock Johnson, we hope, is going to make a return, and we're hoping he's going to see some extensive action tonight. But he's probably the #1 guy we're looking forward to coming back.
I think one thing that has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with this is 2 of your injuries directly affect your kicking game, because one's the snapper and one was the holder. You guys had to make an adjustment there. How's that worked out?
Well, Josh Barrier's released. We feel he's going to do a good job in the lineup tonight, so we get a snapper back, and slowly but surely we're getting people back, and things are really coming into place.
Coming into tonight's game, what do you feel like is going to be the key to watch for against South Rowan?
I think turnovers, because turnovers have absolutely killed us so far this year, and protecting the ball at at key positions and things like that. Just basically executing what we do instead of worrying about what other people do so much.
In a game like this with a big crowd on hand from both teams, how important is momentum?
Momentum, I'm not sure. Momentum is the next play to me, to tell you the truth. So I'm not sure. It's one of those things where turnovers are a momentum thing, and if we prevent that, we feel we can be successful.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go back to you, Randy.
Okay, we've talked a little bit out of the pregame. We've heard from both coaches, Woody. Now the cat is out. Let's see what the real keys are to the game.
Well, this is something we talked about in the pregame and during headliners and last week for Kannapolis. They've got a lot of players out with key injuries, primarily Andre Allison, their top receiver, top kick returner. He is out after a big hit last week at Concord that our fans saw. There he is, no pads, of course, on the sidelines. Also, Dale King is out. The starting secondary, a couple of defensive backs. Charlie Fox primarily is out. Shannon Blackman is gone as well. South Moran pretty healthy overall, but Kannapolis has some key injuries. Special teams. One of those injuries was the holder for Kannapolis in the kicking game, so things may change there. Last week, South Rowan had a big punt returned against them by Mooresville that really turned that game around, so that's going to be critical tonight as well. And finally, you heard both coaches emphasizing over and over again turnovers. When we asked Coach Van Hoy during headliners what was going to be the key to the game, that was the first thing out of his mouth, turnovers. So keep an eye on those three things for tonight's contest.
Well, the crowd, as big as it is tonight, unusually quiet, but I'm sure that's going to change in just a couple of minutes. You'll get to see it coming up next. Welcome back to Donnell Stadium. The teams have made their entrances, and let's go field side with the co-captains.
Captains, we have a sportsmanship situation. We're counting on you guys to take care of your own teams tonight. Every penalty, we'll call for a white captain or a red captain. Come to me quickly, I'll give you your option. If you do not understand, ask me, I'll repeat it. You can look to the sides and help your coach. Once you give us a decision, that's what we go with. You're the visiting captain, you're going to call a coin toss. That's a tail, that's a head. Call it while it's in the air, loud enough so they can hear it. If I drop it, we'll throw it again. You know what you're going to call? Tails. On the head. Tail. You want to toss, you can defer. You want to defer. They're going to defer. You want to receive the football, right? Sir. Okay. You guys going to kick, swing, put your backs to the clock. You guys swing this way. Five, stay still.
Start the first half. Raiders have won the toss and have deferred. The Wonders will receive the ball game.
South Rowan, of course, won the toss. They will defer to the second half. So the Wonders, dressed in their away white, trimmed in green, moving left to right here in the first half, will get their hands on offense for the first time. That's, of course, the Raiders in their traditional red with the black breeches trimmed in white.
Now let's take a look at the lineups there. First for the Wonders along that offensive line. One guy to watch for, Josh Barrier. He returns. He'll play the center spot. That's important not only in the offense, but he will be the snapper on the kicking team as well. So he's a key player that they've gotten back after all those injuries. Rock Johnson also coming back this week to play the fullback spot in place of Dale King. Chris Carter, 1,300 all-purpose yards a year ago. Bickerstaff there will fill in for Andre Allison, who we mentioned was injured. William Van Weeren saw his dad down there hawking programs before the game. And Randy, how about this? Tremaine Fox there, 340 pounds, and then you've got Patterson and Steele along the way. Ricky Childers anchors that secondary there for the Raiders. 75 tackles and an all-conference performance a year ago from him.
There you see Allison on the sidelines, as Woody mentioned. Would love to be in this game, but he knows his time will come. We're about ready to get this one underway as Carter is back deep along with Maurice Edwards. You've got some speed for the Wonders in the return position. Ben Wooten set to kick this one underway here at South Rowan High School. Taken by one of the up man, Terry Collins, looking for a block and good coverage by the Raiders. Talking about special teams, we saw put a little asterisk beside the name first. Brad Lanning, an outstanding defensive player for South, down there first.
He just wouldn't be denied.
1st and 10 as the Kannapolis offense yet to come onto the field. Getting those last, get the play call on the sidelines, and here they come. Drew Marr will direct things at quarterback. And they're working from the I formation with 3 wide receivers at the 18-yard line. First play of scrimmage.
Well, look at this. We don't have Marr. We've got Edwards starting at quarterback.
Edwards will start. Quick pitch to Carter around the left side, and he's got some room. Darting, weaving, and will get out across the 20 to about the 24-yard line. David Ritchie, who's going both ways tonight for the Raiders, bumped him out of bounds.
Well, because I was down there and asked them, and they said Marr was going to start, but they threw us a curveball. Nice run here around the end. You see the speed there of Carter. Nice wall out in front for him to pick up some nice yardage.
Edwards, of course, this will be his first start of the season. 5'8" junior. 2nd down and 5 as they will break one man in motion. That is Peoples, and go to the tailback, and it looks like he slipped. Carter slipped for him after about a yard that time. Jay Phillips over there for the Raiders defensively, just in case.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and short, Randy, and you know, last week we saw Kannapolis in a lot of 2nd long and 3rd and long situations.
And the play in from the sidelines.
Well, that's a little bit longer than it appeared. That's a good 4.5 left.
Oh, yeah. It's a long 4. Carter tried to get outside, breaks one tackle, and then meets a wave of red. Man.
Looked like it was Anthony Ryan, number 44, at the end that came in there. There was a wicked pop at the end of this play. Watch when they both lower their heads. Right there. Man.
A lot of pursuit. Daniel Smith in to punt it away for the Wonders. Back at about the 40-yard line. The Raiders should get good field position. This is number 22, Brad Lanning. He's playing every position. One hopper. Smith gets it away under some pressure, and it takes a wonder roll. So no return, and South will set up shop at their own 38-yard line to start this game. Let's take a look at how they will look offensively.
Well, as you take a look at South Rowan coming out on offense for the first time, the guy to watch will be number 9, Henry Norman. He will get the bulk of the carries tonight. 96 yards a week ago. He had a 50-yard touchdown run as well, and we'll meet the rest of those players there in just a moment as they get ready for the first play.
Full house backfield. And to the air. Out pattern complete. Eluding one man is Brandon Yao, and he's down the sidelines. Wrestled out of bounds. It was Terry Collins on the tackle, but not before he gets into Wonder territory at the 33-yard line.
Well, you line up with that full house backfield, Randy, and everybody thinks run, but watch how wide open Yao is. There's nobody really close. Coming in there late was Robert Clark, and then at the end, as you said, Collins has to run him down.
Great way to open up the game.
Well, Coach Van Hoy talked about a fast start, and if that's any indication, they've gotten one.
Now they will go with the last back through, and it looks like Norman. And he'll go for about 4, maybe 5 that time, down to a Wonder 27, 28-yard line.
Norman, not really that big, Randy, 5'9", 162 pounds, a junior, but he does have some talent, has some skills, as he showed Mooresville early last week.
We played 2 minutes of this game. South in a threatening position here early. And flags, not flags, but...
Well, now it does.
Well, I heard the whistle.
I thought they were just going to stop play because something wasn't set right, but then a flag did come out.
Offsides against Kannapolis. So one of the Wonders defensive guys lined up wrong.
Here you go, that offensive line: Overcash, Miller, Hetherington, Van Wieren, and Moyer. Miller, the senior there. Morgan, Thomas, Norman we've seen, Richie Ware, and Ryan Holt for the Raiders. And we'll catch up with the Kannapolis defense in just a moment.
With the penalty, it'll give South a first down at the Wonder 22-yard line. Morgan, hands off. This is Ted Thomas. And he'll go for about 3, right up the middle. And let's take a look at some more personnel.
There you go, the Wonder defensive backs. Now remember, 2 of their starting secondary players are out. Charlie Fox was the leader of that defensive secondary. He is still injured as well. The barrier back, that's the offensive line as we mentioned, but the Kannapolis team starting to get some players back.
At the 19-yard line, they go with the big fullback, Richie, and he'll carry a load down to about the 16-yard line. Another 3 in a cloud of dust, Woody. So South is in scoring range right now, certainly within field goal opportunity.
And look at the push, the surge that offensive line gets there for South Rowan. William Van Weeren there leading the charge on that right side.
Josh Reeves, the defensive guy, said, man, that's a load. And he's 220. 3rd down and 4. Morgan to the air on the slant and complete. First down, Raiders inside the Wonder 10. Robert Ware on the catch. Looked it all the way in. Made sure. Pretty good coverage by the Wonder defense.
Gave him a little bit of a cushion there, but a nice strike by Morgan. And a good job to hang on because he took a pretty good pop at the end of that one.
Yeah, Terry Collins pretty much all over him without getting a call. 1st and goal, Raiders at the 8-yard line. And here's Norman off the left side. Got a seam down to the 1. No, they'll say he did get in. Touchdown, Raiders.
I thought he was stopped as well, Randy.
That extra little at the end got him across the goal line, and South comes out smoking, and they're on the board first.
That extra little what? Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
Well, you gotta have
adjust the battery in my hearing aid or something here.
The extra point, I don't know if it was partially blocked or not, but it is way off, right, no good. So South will have a 6-0 lead as they cap a 50, make that a 62-yard drive and do it in just a couple of minutes. 6-0 with 8:23 to go, first period. Well, Coach Rick Van Hoy's troops starting off like they did last week at Mooresville. He probably hopes it's not the same result as they got out of the gates real quick. They got up 2 touches on the Blue Devils, who are a pretty tough opponent.
And then they came storming back in that one.
Kick. Collins again. Elio hand it off to Carter. Carter zigs and zags and will get out to about the 26-yard line. Trying to keep it away from the speed back there, and they do. Jay Phillips on the coverage for South.
Well, that was a kind of a dangerous situation there. That's one of those where you say, no, good play, good play.
Well, they didn't know who had the ball. You can't tackle them until you find them. Let's see if Edwards comes out on this series at quarterback. It'll be Drew Marr. So apparently they're going to rotate.
They did a little bit of that late in the Concord game. And we'll see if they're going to wait for one of them to get hot or if they're going to stick with it the whole game. Look at Phillips up there showing blitz.
And they'll go the run. Boy, what a move. Out to about the 33-yard line. And carrying the football hard that time is Fernando Edwards. Now, we saw him play defense a lot last year. Now, that was Rock Johnson. Excuse me. Okay.
I just love saying that name, Rock Johnson. Here's the touchdown again by Norman, and you see right there, as you mentioned, just reaching out as he was going down to get that one across the line. I mean, if there's a better football name than Rock Johnson, I want to know it.
They try to give it to Edwards this time, and on the little counter, and he was met and stood up after maybe a yard. Tough defense interior there for the Raiders.
About 3 or 4 red shirts in on the tackle that time.
And once again, Woody, it sets up a 3rd down, and we'll call it about 3. Kannapolis' offense needs to keep the defense off the field. They need the ball over.
Yeah, they have a lot of fine athletes, Randy, who are really fast and can score, but they've got to get some momentum going and get some rhythm going for the offense.
Quick toss. This is Carter looking for the block. Well, he'll reverse his field, and he can do that, but not this time. Too many red shirts will pin him at about the 28-yard line. Thought he was going to pull off the feet, but...
Well, you had Antoine Norris, number 77, leading this play, Randy, and Carter just outruns him. Watch this. He had to slow down because he was going to outrun Norris, and then he was in a world of trouble. The red shirts just kept coming.
Demetrius Steele, one of those guys that finally finished him. Punting situation again. Smith gets a good snap and doesn't get a high kick, but it will be returned on the line driver, and slipping as he tries to make his cut is number 22 for the Raiders, Brad Lanning, right about the 38-yard line. This is where they started their last series.
Well, it worked out for them last time, but we'll see what they come up with here. A couple of nice passes that were keys last time by Morgan to keep that drive going. The first one kind of loosened things up, and then they ran at him until they got down close.
Halfway through the opening period, second series, now for South Rowan, as Andrew Morgan. Quick toss this time, trying to get around, and about 3 or 4 yards this time. Brent Dindy. A lot of running backs in the Raiders stable, and Dindy with his first carry of the night. Out to the 42.
And boy, he got some pressure up the middle just as he pitched that, Morgan did, but a nice play there, well sealed off by the Raiders, and more fresh ones coming in. Brandon Yao is back in, who caught that first pass.
And he will split wide to the top of your screen on 2nd down and 6. Fullback Richie slants to about the 45-yard line. Along to the right, looked like Daniel Brown for Kannapolis. Coach Van Hoy send it in the next play, Woody.
And trying to see, this is Robert Ware coming in with the play from the receiver spot.
Well, South now with something they didn't have a lot of in the last series, 3rd downs. It's 3rd and 3. Just over the 45-yard line. Here's Norman trying to get outside. He's got speed. He'll have the first down upended by Robert Clark at about the 49-yard line.
And Norman has this ball on the inside where the defense is going to be coming from, and he takes a shot right at the ball. Watch this.
Yeah.
Well, fortunate that didn't come out.
Strong hands.
4 first downs now for the Raiders.
Yeah, once again, only wide out for the Raiders. And Morgan to the air. Fakes once, now goes deep on the fade and complete. No flags. Good coverage over there by Robert Clark.
And that no flag call, Randy, is more accurate than you know, because Chad Keller came from behind and really put a pop on Morgan as he let the ball go. The official reached back there for a second and then didn't throw it. I was looking right at him. I thought, oh, here he goes, and he didn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Had that chewing gum on that thing. Couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
2nd and 10, just shy of midfield. Morgan. Norman slips down. Somebody got a hold of him and upset his balance, and he may have lost a yard.
And the difference in high school is you don't get to get back up and keep running it if somebody doesn't touch you. Once the knee goes down, that's it. And he slips right there, and the play was over. Looked like they poked the ball out at the end of that. Norris came through and gave him a shot, but the play had already been blown dead.
Now it's 3rd down and long for the Raiders. 2 receivers. Back to the eye, pressure coming. Morgan forced out. Underthrow. Intended receiver that time, Ricky Childress, who was a good one. He's a senior.
Give some credit, Randy. You called the pressure. Dwayne McClure was the guy who came right through the middle, the outside linebacker, and forced Morgan to roll on that play.
Well, the first time the the Kannapolis defense has been able to hold, and Patrick Edwards, a sophomore, and to punt it away. Collins lets it go, and it will take a Raider bounce and go down at about the 6 or 7 yard line.
He looked like he had to convince himself to let that one go, and almost went back and got it.
Well, keep in mind, the wind is whipping, and it's kind of a crosswind, and the wind actually held that one up from going into the end zone. It was to his back, so you don't know what to do on a night like tonight.
It looked like when he started to run back after it, you could almost hear the sidelines going, no! And here come the wonders again. Let's see who's going to be the quarterback this time. It's Edwards.
Edwards back in now. This is the 3rd possession of the game. The Wonders in the I formation. Edwards keeps it. Hit. And then the second wave gets him at about the 12-yard line. Nice pickup on first down by the Wonder quarterback, Brad Lanning.
He was the first guy there.
Yeah, Lanning knows how to play this game. He's a seasoned senior for the Raiders on defense.
He just saw him there, number 22, to stop that play. But I think that's the dimension, Randy, that Edwards gives them that Marr doesn't bring. Marr may have a better gun, better arm, but Edwards gives them that running dimension.
Everybody was waiting on the pitch man, which was Carter, and he never got it. Now he's got a blocker in front of him. Rock Johnson, the fullback. It'll be Johnson with the ball. And he's in that pile somewhere. Shoot, where the progress? I think they're going to give him the 15-yard line.
And Rock Johnson is a load, Randy, almost 250 pounds. And he was one of those guys who got hurt in that preseason schedule. The Wonders played a pretty tough preseason schedule, played a lot of really good teams. And Rock Johnson, I think he got hurt in that Richmond County scrimmage. It may have been the next week, but I think it was the Richmond County scrimmage.
I remember seeing him last year toward the end of the season, and he came in and did some good work at that position. Now it's 3rd down and 2. They'll give it to Carter. He's got a seam up the middle, have the first down, out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. There to meet him was Demetrius Steele, number 46 for the Raiders.
And what a nice hole he had to run through. A good move right here to shift right there. See how he kind of dragged that foot and made everybody kind of freeze for a second?
This game, kind of weird. Last week, Kannapolis Concord, the Spiders scored on their first possession. Established a 6-0 lead. Well, guess what happened tonight?
Here we go again.
They kind of get up early and you got a little breathing room here. On first down, Johnson with a big hole. Spins his way out to the 29-yard line. Steele once again on the tackle for the Raiders.
And Rock Johnson, one of those guys, Randy, who knows what to do. You lower your shoulders, you keep the legs moving, then you fall forward. Fullbacks always fall forward.
It's nice to have a big rock back in the backfield like that.
Well, that's a dimension that they didn't have when he was out of the game or out of the lineup with the injury. They didn't have that big bruiser in the backfield, a guy who can really lay the shoulder pads to somebody and get you that extra yard or so. They had some talent, but not a big guy like that.
Here's Edwards. Boy, he's got some speed. Out to the 30, 36-yard line. Lanning again on the tackle for the Raiders. You saw that little burst there, and
uh-oh, Randy, looks like Rock Johnson, number 31 there, was grabbing at the back of his leg. Let's hope he's okay. He was blocking there, and he's kind of limping off the field now. Looks like maybe, hopefully it's only a cramp, but maybe a hamstring the way he's reaching.
Hamstring you can recover from a little quicker than the knees.
And the officials telling everybody to back up and get off the sidelines a little bit.
1-7. I'm sorry.
They were going to call a timeout there.
They did get the first down to the 35-yard line, so...
Well, did they signal? It looked like the coaches were signaling it.
And they blew the whistle. Looking to go. Now the referee will come over and give us the signal. He says timeout Wonders. Okay, 1:17 left, first period. South leading Kannapolis 6-0. Welcome back to Donnell Stadium. Kannapolis will set up at their 35-yard line. They have it first down and 10. And their first down, a couple of first downs here in this particular series in the game. Cross block action and breaking out of his people was inside Raider territory to the south, 24-yard line. Ricky Childers may have kept him out of the end zone. We watch it again. There you see just great blocking.
And you see how he covered up the ball, getting through the line of scrimmage. Nice play there as Childers brings it down. But need to make sure we tell the folks we got a substitute in now for Rock Johnson, number 44, who was in on that play and is still in the game now, is Weeks. Jamel Weeks, I believe they said. Had to check with the film crew for Kannapolis on that one.
Single setback. Going to the air is Marr. He's got Carter open, complete inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. What a great pass. Good touch by Marr. And Michael Hamilton kept Carter out of the end zone.
And that was some nice touch on that one from Marr, because there were two red jerseys flanking Carter. Rolls to buy some time, tight spiral, on the money, great grab.
Double coverage, too. And Carter just outran him to the ball. So the Wonders, their deepest penetration in 2 weeks.
Rock Johnson coming back now along with Edwards.
Tell you what, with all the injuries and some of the new players coming up, the different numbers, we'll get it all right.
Sooner or later.
Coach Massey's hoping to get everybody back, too.
Now the officials have stopped play, and the Wonders call a timeout, Randy. They had a substitute come in, then another come in, and I think they were not real sure of the personnel they wanted to have on the field.
And you got to take advantage of this opportunity when you're at the opponent's 11-yard line. You got a great chance to get it in the end zone. And the clock, there you see it, shows 26 seconds to go.
And take a look again at Marr with the strike to Carter.
It was a great ball fake that got Marr on the roll. I mean, he had the Raider defense. Now, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Like, that enabled Carter to, I guess, to slip behind the defense somewhat.
But when Marr let that one go, I thought it was going to be too long, but he dropped it right in there on the money.
You hear Tim Coyer giving some encouragement to that defense.
And here come the Wonders. There you see Rock Johnson, 31, and looks like he's going to be okay. I'm sure that's a sigh of relief to the Wonder coaching staff and the trainers who have been really earning their pay this year.
Well, fans are getting into this one. The Raider fans coming to their feet. Kannapolis fans on their feet. The Wonders trying to tie this game up. They give to Johnson. Got a yard. There's the roar on the Raider side.
A little bit of pushing and shoving now after the play there, but the officials get in and break that up.
I'm not sure those extra seats we saw in the end zone, those portable bleachers that brought in. Who's chewing? That's a neutral zone, I guess.
I think those were mostly Raider fans. Look right in the middle there, Randy. That's the guy we were talking about, number 79, a little bit earlier in the lineups. Tremaine Fox at 340 pounds.
Man, oh man, that's a lot of takers. First period is history here at Donnell Stadium. It's Raiders 6, Kannapolis nothing. Back in just a minute. Welcome back, though. Swap ends, go down to the other end. The Wonders penetration, they give them the 9-yard line, so we'll call it 2nd down and 8. They can't get a first down and not a touchdown. Ready to go to quarter number 2.
And Randy, Edwards has moved under center now.
Multifaceted player. Here he is rolling on the right side. Will bury the shoulder and keep those legs turned, and he'll go inside the 5. They'll mark it at about the 4.
And he's not a huge guy, Randy, 175 pounds, but he got the pile moving in his direction. As you mentioned, when he lowers his shoulder, look at that. He made about 2 guys bounce backwards.
Just pulled everybody with him. 3rd and 3 at the 4. Let's see what the Wonders come up with on offense here. Carter and Johnson in the backfield behind Edwards. Toss to Carter around the left side, cuts it back in, and he stopped at the 1. It may be a first down. It wasn't a touchdown, but depending on the spot.
Going to be crucial here, because if he didn't get it, you're going to be forced to make a decision. Check it out again. You'll see Johnson leading the way there as he comes around. And just a lot of red jerseys at the end of that play. You had Rock Johnson out there and 3 guys for him to try to block, and that was just a numbers thing. So he did get it.
It is 1st and goal, just inside the 1-yard line. So you got 4 cracks at it. I like my chances with 31 there. There's the line shot. Carter hit in the backfield, scoots forward, and touchdown Wonders. And this game is tied.
He took some shots, Randy, but Carter was able to get the ball into the end zone. He took some big shots right at the line.
Well, you knew what was coming. It's just, can we stop it? And that's asking an awful lot of your defense.
He knew he got across.
Yeah. Now for the chance, as Adam Deloney is in, the senior, to try to give the Wonders the lead. It's up, and Kannapolis takes a 1-point lead. Now you go back and look at that missed extra point, and that's the difference in this game right now. 10:45 to go in the first half. Back with the Wonder kickoff after this. Woody, the Wonder offense got to be feeling pretty good. It's been over 5 quarters since they were able to put points up on the board, and they find themselves with a 1-point lead right now.
Well, they ran into a very good defense last week, one of the best around. Kannapolis has shown all year that they can put points on the board. South Rowan has as well.
Deloney with a short kick, angling away, and boy, it takes a Kannapolis bounce. Will be picked up now at about the 10-yard line. Here's Lanning, and he will be buried at the 10. You don't get too far upfield when you run laterally, and a lot of white shirts over there. Kendall Turner, one of the first guys there on the coverage.
Well, it looked like Lanning thought that maybe David Ritchie was going to pick it up, and when he did, it squirted by both of them, and they were both left with no choice but to turn their backs and run right after it.
They never figured it out. Deloney's got it figured out. I kick it to the right. It's going to take a 45-degree angle and go down. And you practice it in the backyard forever, so I guess it works. Here's Morgan to the air, tipped incomplete. Off of the outstretched hands of Yao.
A little bit too much zip on that one, but there was some pressure up the middle from the Wonders that time.
Field position now favors Kannapolis. If their defense can hold, they're going to get good field position. So, do you sense a little momentum swing here?
Well, maybe not yet, but if this field position holds, then you will for sure.
2nd and 10 at the 10. Morgan rolling, getting pressure, throwing, incomplete.
Dangerous pass.
Collins on the coverage, trying to hit Norman coming out of the backfield. Also over there, actually, 89.
Watch this, some pressure here as he rolls out. And boy, there was a lot of traffic to try and get that one through.
Yeah, it was Norman. That would have been a heck of a catch if he could have held on. Aldos and Yao split along with Norman to the left of your screen. They break the bone, go with the 2 setbacks. Morgan falls down at the 3-yard line. Just misfortune that time. A bad break for Andrew Morgan of the Raiders.
And the Wonders were coming on the blitz that time, Randy. Look here. They had a couple of guys close anyway. Even if he hadn't fallen, he was going to have to get rid of it in a hurry.
Yeah, he saw it. You can see he was already changing direction.
Credit the Wonder defense after that opening drive. They've been solid.
Backed up, about 9 yards deep in the end zone. Getting it away, though. Good punt by Edwards. Here's Collins on the return. Flags down. That's got to be a clip against the return team.
And I think on the replay, you'll be able to see that one plain as day because it happened right in front of the official. It was over there toward the right side as Collins ran that way, and it was the first man there.
Even with the flag, Kannapolis will still have the ball in Raider territory.
Wonders had a terrible time with penalties a week ago.
And they'll step it off from the point of the foul. There's 5, and there's 10.
Well, they had 3 penalties on Concord's opening drive last week. Take a look again. Right there. You saw him with his arms raised. It was Sean Johnson trying to pretend like he didn't clip, but the official was already drawing for the flag then. Coach Massey up top tonight.
I was wondering where we couldn't find him on the sidelines. He was over here changing things. Here we go, the end around, and they're going to do it. Edwards is going to throw it wide open, and the Wonders are going to have a touchdown. Bickerstaff in the end zone. He snuck behind the defense.
That is the danger, Randy, when you got skill players that you can mix and match and put in different spots. We've seen Edwards alternating at quarterback. Marr pitches it to him. They fake the run. Edwards pulls up and throws a strike downfield. This is the quarterback. And Childers bit on the fake and came up, and that allowed Bickerstaff to get that separation.
In a span of just a couple of minutes, the Wonders have gone from a 6-0 deficit to They convert this one by Maloney, a 14-6 lead. It's up, and it's perfect. Timeout on the field. 9:43 to go. First half. It is now Kannapolis 14 and South 6. Well, just like that, the Wonder offense has come to town.
Excellent play calling by the Wonder coaches, Randy. You know, you got two players in the backfield at the same time that can throw the ball down the field. 2 for 2 passing for the Wonder so far, and that was a big one.
Yeah, Mars got one, and Edwards has got one. Maloney kicks it short again, coming this side, and steaming his way out across the 35-yard line, David Ritchie. Tell you what, that old fullback gets a head of steam up. It's hard to bring him down in the open field.
He just wanted to get back to the middle of the field so he could dive into all those guys. It looked
I want
like
to hit somebody.
looked like Clifford White got him down at the end.
That's a beautiful play. It's hard to defense. You know, go back to the pass play. Your quarterback hands off on the end around to your other quarterback, and then you say, well, he's going to run it.
And he's already shown you he can run it.
Yeah, I'll bite on the fake, and then he pulls up and just throws it to the tight end. Here's Norman. Oh, check it, not Norman, but number 6, Ted Thomas. Second time he's carried tonight, out to the 39-yard line for the Raiders. Dwayne McClure on the tackle for Kannapolis. Throwing about 3 on the play.
And here's an opportunity, Randy, for the Raiders, if nothing else, to turn that field position battle around.
Yeah, that's still a touchdown game. If you convert 2. A long way from over in this particular game, in this series. Norman stopped after about a yard. Clifford White up there.
Clifford broke through and got him from behind, actually, it looked like. Take a look again, see if 33 right there from behind brings him down, but a host of white jerseys around.
We might have a track meet going tonight. You know, you never know in this series.
Norman comes out. This is the first time we've seen the eye, isn't it?
Well, we're going to go. Morgan under pressure, and he'll go down at the 35-yard line. Saw the receivers were covered. He says, I got to bail, and they wouldn't give him time.
Randy, Alan Clark won't get credit for the sack that time, but they ought to give him at least half of it because he was the guy who came tearing through the middle that time and busted the play up.
And good coverage downfield by the Wonder secondary. Patrick Edwards will have to punt it again. Collins, the deep back. Boy, good kick. Collins backpedals to the 20. Oops. He decides there's too many red shirts to fight here.
Well, Randy, the ball came out. He didn't get any contact. He just forgot to take it with him.
Whoops.
He had to turn around and go back after it.
That's a scary sight. I'd probably drop the ball and drop everything else and run for my life, too. If I look up, I see about 6 red shirts within 3 yards of you. Man, oh, man. Coverage there for the Raiders.
Fortunate that he was able to get back to it. That could have been a devastating special teams miscue there. And Marr stays in at quarterback. If it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess.
That's right. At the 26-yard line. Brock Johnson. It takes about 4 guys to get him down. Got a yard.
Looked like maybe the first guy there was Jay Phillips at the bottom, number 30 there.
It's a dirty job, but the fullback's got to do it. You get those tough yards for you.
And, you know, Randy, you don't often talk about a big fullback like Rock Johnson, near 250 pounds, as being spry, but it seems like since we noticed him limping earlier, he doesn't seem as quick as he did in that opening series.
If he wants to be called spry, Mr. Johnson, I'll call you spry.
He did look pretty spry on that first drive, but it looked like there he didn't quite look as quick as he did.
Quick toss to Carter. They send him in motion, and he's got some speed. Look at that. Turning the corner, cuts it up, got the shoulder square, and will get out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. that's another dimension that most players don't have.
Carter doesn't have 4.2 speed, but he does have speed when he accelerates to get away from you. He looks like he's not running that fast, and all of a sudden he shifts gears and you're grasping at air.
I can remember Nick Maddox was that way. You say, somebody's going to catch you, but nobody ever did.
Doesn't seem like it. There's Coach Van Hoy. And all of a sudden you can just see the confidence in this Kannapolis offense. They got a pep in their step. They're all upbeat, slapping each other on the back.
By 3rd and 1. Yep, second effort. Carter keeps fighting out to the 41-yard line. I lost him there for a minute.
How did he get out of that? They had him. It looked like he was going to be close to the first down, but it looked like they had him wrapped up, and he just kind of popped through. Watch. Right there, it looked like they had him, and he just kept the legs working.
You got to tackle the good players. You got to make sure of those tackles.
If you just run up and bump them, they're not often going to go down.
So the Wonders with the first down. The clock showing 6:51 left in the first half. Carter in motion. They fake the toss and give it to Edwards on the cross. Buck, and he'll get out about the 48-yard line. Ricky Childers on the tackle for South Rowan.
As we mentioned, Ricky Childers, 75 tackles a year ago to lead that secondary and made all-conference and split time at quarterback a year ago.
Yep. Yeah, it was a pretty good quarterback. Coach Massey saying, man, where have all these plays been?
Well, he can see them better from up here now.
Well, superstitious.
Remember he did that last year for a stretch.
Gain of 7. Johnson, boy, he's got a hold now. Oh, what a hit.
I think
I don't know who got hurt the worst there.
I think he slipped at the end of that. One of the Raiders is hurt.
But not in that vicinity of the tackle, but back up at the line of scrimmage.
Now, Rock looks like he's got a little fleet of foot coming back there. But, let's see who the injured Raider is. They're coming out to his attention now. Looks like might be Phillips, maybe?
Will Cheney.
No, I see him. He's out there.
Clock stops with 6:04 left in the first half. Kannapolis 14, South 6. We'll step away. Good news as we come back, William Van Weering up on his own power and off the field. It doesn't appear to be a serious injury. I think he just had the wind knocked out of him. And as we come back from the officials' timeout, now Kannapolis takes their last timeout of the first half, and they'll go over on the sidelines to talk over things. 5:52 remaining first half. Don't forget, Headliners coming up next Wednesday night live in our studio at 8 o'clock as we'll be stepping away from this area and I think going down to Mount Pleasant. Boy, that's going to be a heck of a battle.
And that Mount Pleasant team, Randy, you want to talk about a team that's proven they can score. They put up points against everybody.
They fake the toss. Marr, plenty of time, throwing it deep and incomplete. Trying to hit Edwards, but nobody was going to catch up with that one. I think Drew just muscled up on it too much.
He had plenty of time to stand back there and wait for that one to break open, but 3 Raiders back there with Edwards this time. Watch him wait, and then throws. See that? 3 Raiders back in the vicinity of that one, and not much chance they were going to be fooled on that one.
Boy, did you see the spin on that ball? I wish I could throw a football that pretty. I tell you what.
Oh, man.
Not a bad play call. First down and 10. Go for the deep one.
I think it might be bread and butter time here, though.
Yep. How did he slip out of that and almost got to the outside? Chris Carter down to the 41-yard line, landing on the tackle. Carter for about 5 yards on the play.
Check him out, right up the middle. And just a little skip step there to get through the line of scrimmage. And he makes it okay. Did you see that shot on Lanning a minute ago? He had 1 red sock and 1 black sock. Number 22, look.
There's a significant reason for that.
There must be some reason for that.
I'm the defensive captain. I get to wear the red sock.
I don't know.
Maybe he just didn't have 1 black sock to put on over the red sock. They try the same play that's been working pretty good all night long, and Carter is corralled at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you had Anthony Ryan, number 44 there, the linebacker coming through. He didn't make the tackle, but he sure disrupted that play as Carter tried to come back against the grain.
So Kannapolis, after a couple of good possessions, will be forced to give it up again as they'll punt. Brad Lanning is the deep guy. Daniel Smith with a little bit of pressure, but gets it off. Lanning comes up, fields, fumbles, and it's loose. I think Kannapolis may have got it. And they do, inside the 20-yard line. So our first turnover of the game, and that goes to the Wonders.
Well, it looked like that one just fought its way out of his arms because it seemed like he had it securely for a step, and then it just kind of fought its way out of his arms, it appeared. That was unusual looking.
Gotta put it away.
Take a look at it again here. Ryan comes close to the block on that one, but boy, it just skipped away. And looked like wrapping it up there at the end. Was it Reeves or Collins?
We'll give Collins credit for it.
All right.
We learn otherwise. Edwards in at quarterback now on this series. Quick toss. Here comes Carter looking for a block around the corner. Now he accelerates and will be bumped out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Keith Park over there defensively for the Raiders, but not before they pick up about 8.
Well, you asked a minute ago if we felt the momentum was changing. You definitely feel that way now. The Wonders knocking on the door, threatening to go up by a couple of touchdowns here. And, well, you can just see it in the way they carry themselves that they've got their confidence in this game. They feel like they can execute.
Once again, Coach Van Hoy's prophecy comes back. Special teams killed us last week, and there you see the turnover. Now the Wonders trying to cash in. Carter. They miss him a couple of places. He'll have the first down. It goes inside the 10-yard line.
I'm glad to see him bounce back up because he kind of got twisted around awkwardly there as he went down. Watch him make 42 miss right there and then just dive through.
Alex Steele, number 66, held his block on that offensive line. He was moving some dirt out there.
That was Richie that came through, and Carter was able to get by him, and we saw him make a lot of players miss last week.
First and goal for the Wonders at the 6-yard line. High formation. Johnson. And let's go this way. He'll rumble up the middle, and they still don't have him on the ground.
Goodness gracious, Randy. I mean,
they got 3.
You don't need to be spry if you can do that.
Well, he looked and he says, I don't think I'll go this way.
Watch Rock just keep going and keep working. Keeps fighting.
Man, he took some shots.
They had everything stopped. Nobody was really moving, but he was leaning forward, and they just couldn't get him pulled back the other way.
The advantage of having a 250-pound fullback. Strong as an ox. Second and goal for the 3. We are at field level right now. And looks like the Raiders jumped.
Yeah, the guilty party right in the middle of the screen there, and it looks like it's our man Tremaine Fox. We were talking about him being 335 pounds, Randy. He ain't the biggest. The Raiders also have Brad Mulkey, who's 420 pounds.
Good gracious. Mulkey, you see number 78 there.
Right in the middle.
Mulkey meets Johnson. Immovable objects? Yeah. Edwards keeps it and will go in. Touchdown, Kannapolis.
You know, if we take a look at this again, Randy, that almost looked like Edwards intended to give that one to Rock Johnson and had to pull it back. See that? It almost looked like he thought he was supposed to hand that one off.
And with the speed, he went in untouched. The Wonders have come storming back after spotting South 6. They had 20 and try to go 21 unanswered points here. All in about a period of 8 or 9 minutes. Deloney's kick is up, and he is perfect again. 3 for 3 in that department. The clock shows 2:48 to go, first half. Kannapolis 21, South Rowan 6. Welcome back to Overflow Donnell Stadium here in China Grove, South Rowan, and Kannapolis doing battle again in 2001. And if you think this has been good so far, we don't have time. We've got both outstanding bands coming up for your enjoyment. Once again, a short kick, and actually ran into his own man there for a minute.
It was Richie again coming across.
At the 30-yard line is where South will...
Maybe it was Danielle Brown who I think made the tackle on that one, but South, you see the time they've got to work with, and I don't believe they have used the timeout, have they?
I don't think so. Let's see if Morgan goes back to the air. I formation. Now Morgan checking. And here we go, tailback. Good yardage that time. Out across the 30 to the 35-yard line goes Norman.
They've got time to run some plays, and they don't have to think, get downfield in a hurry, because as we mentioned, you see Norman had a blowout there with the shoe. But he'll get retreaded and ready to go. They can afford to run some plays and go to the middle of the field.
Childers and Lanning are the wideouts down to the left of your screen. On second down, they hit the middle again. And for about 3. It'll be third short coming up.
And coming in quickly from the sidelines with the play is going to be Robert Ware, number 11.
As we've just now ticked inside 2 minutes to go.
Well,
Norman just keeps going with a pile, doesn't he?
Yeah, we mentioned he's not a big guy, but like Carter, he got the pile to go his direction.
Morgan looks back, checks his offense. Richie is the fullback, and he will get the ball. Give it to the fullback on 3rd and 1. Depending on the spot, I think he may have the first down.
If nothing else, though, they'll probably measure and stop the clock while they do that. The officials indeed do that. And he looks like he's got it based on that spot.
Well, South fans are saying, they're kind of booing him. Now they're going to give it to him. Okay. And timeout has been called for by South Rowan. 1:31 left here in the first half. So they got 91 seconds. That's an eternity. They got great field position, their own 40-yard line, and a first down. So,
and still 2 timeouts to work with.
And Coach Van Hoy knows that better than anybody. And you're only down 21-6.
And we've seen Robert Ware, I believe, already catch a ball. We saw Yao make a catch as well. So they can strike through the air. They're going to have to sooner or later.
Yeah, that first play went for 30 yards.
Right.
First play of the game. So they can throw the ball, but obviously that's not their favorite thing to do.
Right. Simply because of the time factor, they're going to have to throw it at some point on this drive if they're going to be successful with it. Can you do that?
Lord, that hurts me just to look at that. How about you?
Oh, man.
Are they limber or what?
I have to go see the doctor if I tried something like that. All right, did I forget the doctor? Go straight to the emergency room.
Dr. Kane, police report stat. Morgan pumps the second time, hits his man over the middle at midfield. Ryan Holt has tied in. Had to wait on him to get across.
Yeah, you saw him pump. When Morgan got it in the air, there was somebody between him and his receiver. Right here, he has to bring it back down and then throw. Nice call.
Yep. Tied in. Well, those guys don't get a lot of credit in the offense, but when they make the plays, they make them big. There's Mulkey, 78. Look at that.
Man, it'll take you a week to run around him.
I wouldn't want to be out there trying to go play defense against that guy. Speaking of defense, nowhere is Norman going. As standing him up is Dwayne McClure.
Well, you want to talk about just diagnosing a play and ripping it to shreds. McClure did that, and he forces the Raiders to take a timeout. Watch this, right up the gut. From the linebacker spot, 202-pound senior is McClure.
Raiders use another timeout, and it comes with 56 seconds left in the first half.
Need to mention, Randy, that both these teams open conference play next week. We'll have headliners live Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. As we go back to see Coach Mike Johns and the Mount Pleasant Tigers in a conference game against Forest Hills.
And I think we see these same Raiders of South in a couple of weeks in a conference game, and West Forsyth. So it really gets serious next week in the conferences.
The Raiders will be home again, taking on West Forsyth to open up conference play in the Central Piedmont 4A. Kannapolis will be at home taking on West Rowan in their home opener for North Piedmont conference action. Not home opener overall, but for conference play.
On 2nd and 11, Morgan with some pressure up the middle now, running for his life, and we brought down from behind at the 45-yard line. Kendall Turner came busted through and got him.
Another linebacker coming through, but credit McClure, Randy. He broke through right here. Watch 11. See that? Flushed him out, and that was what disrupted things. And coming up to finish it there was Turner. So the Wonders have shown you here early that they're not going to be shy about throwing the linebackers at them.
Kannapolis' defense says, well, let's gamble right now. We know they're going to. And they just flushed that play out. And now it's 3rd and 16, but more importantly, only 42 seconds remaining and Southside a timeout. So
yeah, just burned the last one. Going to be interesting to see if they can take a strike deep downfield. It looked like they wanted to that time, but when you got the linebackers hanging all over you like that, you don't get enough time. Morgan, the junior, just had to take off and run, and there's Coach Massey, who can't see his lips, but I bet there's a smile there.
well, let's look. Let's see.
At least a grin.
He has a pleasant look on his face. He's obviously a little bit more pleased with having 21 on the board.
Let's see what the Raiders can come up with here. They got Lanning into the game now as a receiver. He'll be at the top.
And Robert Ware down at the bottom of your screen. Here's Norman looking for some room, and he'll get out, come out the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Norris on the tackle for the Wonders.
And they get up quickly. They likely had 2 plays called.
It's 4th down and 9, so
Not a bad call because they had to be thinking pass, and he busted a 50-yarder last week.
22 seconds to go. Here's Morgan rolling to buy time, throwing upfield, and it is going to be complete. Cutting back across the field, ball is loose, and Kannapolis will fall on it, I believe. And they'll recover the ball. Boy, that was bizarre, Woody.
Yeah, because everybody was still tackling upfield, and the ball wasn't there.
The interesting thing about it, here we see the receiver has the first down when he catches it.
Right.
Just step out of bounds.
That would have been the smart play to just get out of bounds. Let's see who strips it loose.
Somebody knocked it from behind, and somebody was trying to pick it up and go the distance.
Now, if you're Kannapolis, are you content here, or do you take one shot?
It's like a free play here. 8 seconds to go. And if it's intercepted, so what? It's going to be down at the goal line.
How about Marr coming in and pitching to Edwards again?
Well, that looked pretty good. They're 1 for 1 in that play tonight. Tell you what would catch everybody by surprise. Give it to Rock Johnson and let him throw it.
Marr's not in there, so forget that play. They're just going to be content to go to the locker room up 2 touchdowns.
And after spotting South 6 points, Kannapolis does come back and put 3 touchdowns on the board. 21-6. The Wonders leading the Raiders at half. Stay tuned. We got some great bands for you coming up next. What a gorgeous shot. As I said, it couldn't get much better. A beautiful autumn night here for football, and a little bit of a breeze, a nip in the air, and 2 arch rivals going at it. And there's how some other numbers shake out for the first half.
I think a couple of things jump out at you there. The rushing yards, only 32 for South Moran after that initial opening drive where they moved the ball very well. Total yards, of course, because of that on the side of Kannapolis. But those 2 turnovers, you heard Coach Van Hoy on Headliners and in our pregame interview talking about turnovers would be critical, and the Raiders had 2 of them there in the first half. 2 out of 3 passing for Kannapolis, 4 out of 8 for South Rowan, and you see the penalties there, 2 for 20, 1 penalty for 2 yards and against South Rowan. And as we review our keys to the game, injuries maybe not so much the guys that are out, but the guys that came back. Kannapolis got their starting center back. They got Rock Johnson back tonight. They made the most of them. Special teams, huge. South Moran had the fumble on the punt. They also had the missed extra point, and we documented a moment ago the 2 turnovers. All those have been critical here in the first half.
Setting the tone for the second half, Woody, and of course South won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they'll get the football first. Down 15 points, and they can really make a statement, and we'll see what kind of character maybe these Raiders have got as they come back out in the second half.
Can you do that?
Yeah, but not as long as those guys can.
I really think it is crucial for South Moran to come out and establish something. Not necessarily march right down the field and get a touchdown, but don't go 3 and out. They need to keep the ball, take some time off the clock, and get the field position going their way, if nothing else, on this first drive.
So Kannapolis getting the hamstrings loosened up there.
South Moran is out on the field ready to take the kick.
Here, because we're ready to go. It's set at 12 minutes.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that situation and see how things turn out.
I've seen it happen before, but
it's rare, but it does happen every now and then.
Of course, you may have you're allowed a certain amount of period to warm up, but South may just be out on the field early.
And remember, as we mentioned, Randy, both these teams looking for some momentum as they head into conference play next week. Kannapolis will be home taking on South Rowan. The Raiders will be back here taking on West Forsyth.
And now here comes the referee. And he went down. It's kind of like the umpire in baseball going out to break it up on the mound.
Yeah. Hey, guys, let's play. The Kannapolis fans welcome their team back out.
Standing room only here at Donnell Stadium. They're sitting in the end zones. They're standing around the track.
Well, this is a tremendous crowd. Did you see the...
That's the way it's supposed to happen. You can understand that the shield was going to get that last season.
Hard enough if we do a little eavesdropping there, but
yeah, he was telling him why he didn't throw a flag on him that time, and it evidently was somebody didn't tell him when they needed to come out of the locker room or something. But
and I think you are allowed at least a 3-minute warm-up period. Well, Deloney who has been a busy man kicking off and in the extra point department, set to get the second half underway. Back deep is Ricky Childress along with Laney.
But they haven't touched the ball on a kickoff yet. They've been kicking it short to the side over toward Richie.
Now Richie is over there at about the 25-yard line. That's where it's headed. He gets out of the way. Laney will get it at the 20. Steps out of the tackle and almost kept his balance. Out to the 30-yard line.
I think the first man down for Kannapolis looked like it was Kendall Turner.
And Daniel Brown, I think, actually was the guy who got him off balance, and then Turner finished him off. So the Raiders will start at the 30-yard line. Morgan, who's gone all the way at quarterback tonight, lines them up from the I formation.
Remember, they started the game and stuck with, for a while, that full house backfield.
Tailback. Oh, they sealed the end that time. Norman with 10, 15 yards on the carry. That's pretty good way out of the gate in the second half.
Boy, that was beautiful execution by the Raiders. It looked like Sean Johnson got him down in the end, but he had all kinds of daylight there on the right side.
Norman, their leading ball carrier on the year, had 413 yards coming into tonight's game. Look at the call again. Carries folks for about 3 that time. Clifford White got on and rode him to the ground.
Well, the Raider offense has come out pretty crisply here. Boy, the ball almost came loose. Did you see that?
They're hitting hard down there. Raiders with a 4-yard pickup on that play. That will give them a 49. Just underway here in the second half. South from the I. Morgan to pass. Out pattern complete. Yao. First down into Wonder territory. Down the 40-yard line. Daniel Brown on the tackle.
And that's nice, sharp execution by the Raiders coming out of the locker room. Quick drop. Gave him a big cushion there. And Yao Opened up the first half with a big play, and now comes out early in the second half with a nice one.
Yeah, doing a good job running his defenders off and then coming back. Lanning split to the bottom. Childers to the top on first down. And back to the line of scrimmage is Norman. Boy, is Norris not making a statement there? Now he
looked like the guy being pulled by the speedboat there, the skier. He just kind of sat down and hung on. Look.
Good gracious.
I know I weigh too much for you to pull me very far, so.
Well, 250 pounds.
Yeah, and then you look at Norman, and he's only 160 pounds.
I don't know who won that one. From the 40-yard line. Morgan on the slant, got Yao again, complete, got about 9. Terry Collins on the tackle. Good coverage, but just a great pass and good route.
And after that opening drive, Randy, the Raiders stuck to the run an awful lot. Here in the second half, they've come out mixing their plays very effectively.
This time they send Lanning and Childers to the same side of the field, top part of your screen. Well, keeping the ball is Morgan. He looked like he wanted a handoff and maybe had a little option there, but Norris would have none of that as he does the Norris shuffle there.
I think you're exactly right, Randy. Richie comes up limping, and I think that he wanted to hand off to him there, but boy, and he just bent awkwardly as people were falling on his back as he came down that time. Hopefully he's going to be okay.
Norris tracking him down from behind. Well, it's 4th and a long 1. Here we go. Key play early here in the second half. Norman to the outside, has the first down and then some. Just beat everybody to the corner. Josh Reeves had a shot at him, did trip him up, but not before he got about 6.
And look, he wants to go to the middle, Randy. There's nothing there, and he has the speed to bounce into the outside and make positive yardage.
No substitute for speed. Penetration down to the 24-yard line.
You got Phillips in at the fullback spot now, looks like.
Norman again looking. How did he get away from the initial wave? He'll pick up maybe a yard.
He ducked, and they went over the top of him, it looked like. Looked like coming in to finish the play off was McClure. Watch him duck right there.
Yeah, 5'9", 162 pounds. He doesn't have a lot of bulk to throw at those big defensive linemen. Actually, he got back to the line of scrimmage officially, so it's 2nd down and 10. Yao was back in. He'll split out to one side, and also Robert Ware, the other wide out. Let's see if they throw it. Yep, Morgan's to the air, and that one...
He got popped, Randy. Coming right up the middle was McClure again, and how many times have we seen that? They have been sending McClure, seems like, every other play, and he hit Morgan just as he wanted to let that one go. So McClure's having a big game.
Well, the Wonders defense said, let's gamble a little bit. We were able to blitz successfully in the first half, and right now they get into the red zone. Now's the time to do it.
And look, Coach Massey's moved back down to the sidelines.
Yeah, I noticed it. They were saving his seat up here. 3rd down and 10. Morgan with pressure, throws in zone, trip, that's going to be a flag. Interference against the Wonder defense. And although it looked like incidental, it did knock the guy down. He had a chance to catch the ball.
Now there's another flag back here toward the line of scrimmage, Randy. Let's see what that's going to be all about.
They could offset. Definitely we're going to have pass interference on the defense, and maybe a holding call back here against South. Let's see.
There's the pass interference that you mentioned with the trip. Ineligible man downfield. That's decline.
Big break for the Wonders. So,
well, I don't know if decline. Now watch this pop by Turner right there at the end of that play. You see their legs kind of got tangled up right there on the coverage. At the end was Robert Clark, and they're asking the referee, what are you calling? Like you said, it doesn't matter necessarily if it's incidental. If you make contact and it disrupts him.
Yeah, because that was laid on the money on a Rowan. That probably was a completion of a touchdown.
It's not decline, I should say. They offset. So it's a do-over.
We got a do-over. Well, actually, they lose the down. It's 3rd and 10. At the 24, Morgan with pressure, backside, he loses the football. Kannapolis will recover. So the defense comes up with another turnover, recovered at the 32-yard line, and Let's see, looked like 78 for the Wonders.
79.
79.
Watch Turner right here. Kendall Turner again, Randy, and he poked it loose. Second time in a row, Turner has come up from that linebacker spot to really disrupt things, and that's exactly what South Moran didn't want to have happen. They did turn the field position around, but they were moving crisply down the field, looking like they were headed for a score.
Go back to the offsetting penalties is the key. Rock Johnson will start at fullback. Marr is in at quarterback here to start this series and start the second half. Double wing. They send Carter in motion. He'll get the pitch and try to reverse his field. I don't know how he got out, but he's got some blocking. Marr, if he went to the outside, he would have had all kind of daylight, but chose to cut it back in, and Lanning was waiting on him.
Well, coming through there, I think it was Van Weeren got through and almost had him. Watch 70, see if it's him that gets through here, right there, but couldn't quite get him down, but he sure disrupted the play. I don't know how Carter made something out of this. It was just completely broken, and he went all the way back to the other side.
He ran 75 yards, gained 3.
There's Morgan.
A little disconsolate after the Raiders had a chance to get some points. Here's Edwards. A little misdirection. And
they dove in there like the ball came out.
Let's see.
I think it is loose. Let's see who's going to come out with it.
No signal yet. They got to unpile all the bodies. Somebody, yeah, there's a guy in a white jersey underneath.
It's Edwards, and look at that split he's doing, Vinny. I hope he didn't get squashed like that.
That's the kind you don't get injured on. It's those weird ones you don't see.
Man.
He had about 16 people on him, didn't he?
That hurt to look at.
Can you do that?
He was down under all those guys doing a split, but he held on to that ball. Or at least fought his way in there to get it back.
And gained 3 yards. It's 3rd and 4. 6.5 to go, third period. Marr from the eye. Sends Edwards in motion and gives to the tailback, Carter. They get him once, and he'll get the first down. He just kept fighting and fighting. Gets out to the 44-yard line.
Anthony Ryan came up from the linebacker spot and had a chance to stop that play before it was a first down, and Carter just got away. Watch this. 44 Ryan right there, and Carter again just gets away.
Edwards was trying to do the block, and that guy fought off the block and disrupted things. Coach Massey's kind of sitting down there on his knees there. Are they drawing him in the dirt?
I don't know. I don't think the grass has died off yet. You probably have to do it in the grass now.
1st and 10. Johnson gets the mail and still goes to midfield. Got about 6. Demetrius Steele gets credit for the initial hit, and we'll give him the tackle.
Rock Johnson is deceptive, Randy, because sometimes it seems like he stops and everybody thinks, okay, the play's over, but he keeps fighting.
That's like trying to tackle a freezer.
Yeah.
Or a refrigerator or some other kind of big household appliance. Gotta have one of those little dollies.
Yeah.
You know.
Hand truck.
Yeah. 7-yard pickup. Back to the I formation. And Marr doesn't like the either defense or offensive setup. He'll call a timeout. The Wonders will burn one with 5:07 left in the third period. They lead it 21-6. Randy Whitley along with Woody Kane. Glad you have joined us this week for our Metro Channel coverage of the game of the week. Wonders have it now at the 49-yard line of South, 2nd and 3. Marr with a play fake. Good time. And hits his receiver. That's Edwards. First down and out of bounds at the Raider 36-yard line.
Nice play call there by the Wonder coaches, Randy. They had been running that little pitch on that set to Carter. That time they faked it. You see Carter staying in the block, and it gives all kinds of room for Edwards.
And Marr stayed in there and delivered a bullet, despite a little bit of pressure coming up the middle.
Well, you know everybody in a red jersey had to be thinking, Carter, Carter, Carter.
So the Kannapolis defense stiffens on the South's initial drive in the second half, forces the turnover, and here comes the Wonder offense. Carter nowhere to go. They were waiting on it that time. Jay Phillips in there for the Raiders. along with Joel Patterson. They'll stick him for about a 4-yard loss. Joel Patterson is the guy we saw last year in the game who kind of went end over end.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was on an extra point or something?
Yeah, something. Fell on his head.
Man.
Did a complete flip, but he was okay.
It's amazing what these kids can take. You see, heading up there toward the line, the big center for Kannapolis, Randy, Josh Barrier. What a huge boost for this offense it is to get him back.
He starts it all off. Boy, timing is everything. You practice.
They're confused again.
And the second timeout in the last 2 minutes called by Kannapolis. So they only have 1 TO left here in this game.
You remember in the first half they had to do this a couple of times when they either didn't have the right personnel or they didn't see the defense they expected to see, but I guess that's better than the 5-yard penalty, but they really had some confusion there.
Now it's better than maybe going ahead with a play, a turnover, or you never know.
Get those dialing fingers ready, folks.
Oh, okay. Headliners coming up Wednesday night live in the studio. They have Mike Johns from Mount Pleasant as the Tigers will take on what has been perennially the toughest team, not only in the Rocky River Conference, but in maybe all of 2A year in, year out. The Forest Hills Yellow Jackets.
They're generally one of the better teams around, as you said, but they don't generally send the coaches to headliners.
No, so we can be homers.
It'll be a homer show. All right, now you got back in at fullback.
Quick toss. Carter with some room, and he's gone.
Man, oh, I think they're going to get him for celebrating. A flag comes out at the end of that, Randy. He was high-stepping into the end zone. I think they may get him.
Well, he'll give up the 5 yards to get 6 points, I believe.
I was about to say Jamil Weeks was in at fullback, but Carter ran too fast before I could even say it.
Well, he threw a good block anyway.
Yeah.
There was some good blocking around the corner. They just opened up a wall there.
That is going to be the call. The points are good. They'll enforce that on the kickoff, I believe. There's Weeks, 44 right there, and Carter, look at that hole. He wasn't even touched. Yep. And there's the high stepping, I think, and here comes the flag.
And you got your center with a little escort. The guy who started it all by snapping the ball. So they've scored with a long pass. Now they score with a long run as it's Carter time for the Wonders.
Now they'll enforce it on the extra point, not the kickoff. So this is going to be a long 2-point conversion.
Is the kicker out there? Nope, Deloney's not out. They're going to go for 2. 18-yard line.
Be about a 36, 37-yard field goal from here. Option.
Carter. And they got about 6. The point after conversion no good as Keith Clark ran Carter out of bounds. Timeout on the field. 4:09 left, third period. Wonders have extended their lead. They now are on top 27-6 over arch rival South Rowan. Kannapolis leading 27-6. They won the last 6 meetings in this game, in this series, and trying to go 7 straight against the Raiders. It's a long uphill battle. South can't put points on the board quickly. We've seen them do it this year, but we'll just have to wait and see. This one does get to Lanning at the 20, trying to get the block, and gets out to about the 29-yard line.
Don't forget as well, Randy, that the Raiders have a 9-game home winning streak on the line here as well.
That dates back to 1999. That's back when they turned it around, made the playoffs in a short conference season of only, 4 or 5 games. And then they won all their home games to date this year. They won them all last year. 99, 2000, 2001, so it spans almost 3 seasons. Morgan to the air, over the middle, complete.
And now they're saying, did he hang on? No, he did not. And you heard Coach Van Hoy in the pregame interview, Randy. We asked him about what stat would be real important, and he mentioned passing numbers. That makes South Rowan 6 out of 12 for 78 yards. Kannapolis, meanwhile, only 3 out of 4, but 91 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Justin Pinion argued briefly, number 80. He said, I had the ball.
Now, you're almost never going to win that one.
It's second down. Morgan again to the air. This time he gets it out to Pinion. He's got it and tackled immediately at about the 32-yard line. Daniel Brown on the coverage.
Well executed play there. You had a receiver a little bit deeper to draw off some heat, and you see Pinion's got a little bit of room there, but closing quickly was Brown.
Pinion, I understand, had been hurt early in the year, and so South's getting some of their personnel back. Ware and Yao with the wideouts. It's 3rd and 7. Slant, Yao complete. First down, and he was about a step away, Woody, from breaking that one. Almost got away from Robert Clark.
And what a key it was, Randy. An excellent job by the Raiders to pick up what was pretty much a full blitz. Looked like the Wonders had about 3 extra guys coming on that play, and the Raiders picked it up.
When you pick it up, it works good. It goes for big yardage. And the Raiders now back in business on the Wonder 47-yard line. They give it to Ritchie, the fullback, and he slants, and Hempy's balance to the 35-yard line.
And remember, he came up a little bit game a while ago on that when they fell on his back, but he looks okay here.
Because Hempy's balance, he may have cut it to the outside and got a lot closer to the end zone. 12 yards on that carry. Inside 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. They hit the middle again with a little guy, the tailback, and he'll get about 5. South's offensive line with a good surge there. Norman tackled by King.
You know, the Raiders, Randy, had come out working the outside, working the outside, working the outside. Now 2 plays, they go right at the middle again to try and keep that defense off balance.
Well, their offense had made the adjustments here in the second half. They moved the ball. Of course, the first time they had it here in the second half, they coughed it up right about in this vicinity.
But I think the key was what you mentioned, those offsetting penalties that kind of stalled them.
Norman cuts it in and meets up with a lot of white shirts. That's going to be a flag. Norris a little overzealous as he pushed him out of bounds, and he has nobody to blame but himself there.
Well, Norris, 250 pounds, got a hold of Henry Norman at 160 pounds, and when he got him to the sidelines, gave him a little, as you said earlier, oomph, and took him out of bounds, and immediately everybody on the Raider sideline started asking for a flag. The official was throwing it, just not the one right there.
Well, Norris knows what he did. If he had a do-over, he wouldn't have done it.
Well, you knew Norman was going to be in trouble once Norris came over there and wrapped him up. That was just a physics question there. And then watch at the end here, give him a little bit extra. Takes him over and then pushes him.
They just kind of, I don't know, own strength there sometimes.
Boy, what a huge break for South Rowan there. That's the 15-yard variety.
Down to the Wonder 13-yard line. Quick count, Norman fumbles the football, and it will be picked up by Kannapolis. It looks like they'll return it out to the 14-yard line. Kendall Turner. Boy, when there's a loose football around, he's going to be around it.
4 turnovers now for South Rowan. Let's see how close to being down he is. That's awful close, Randy. I think the only reason his knee wasn't down is because somebody was under it.
Exactly. It just popped out. So the second time this half, the second consecutive drive, the Raiders have been in the red zone and turn it over.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker. Now Edwards is going to come back under center.
Carter and Johnson are his running backs. From the 14. Edwards thought about pitching and is going to be wrapped up at the 10-yard line. Actually, Tremaine Fox just leveled him. Tremaine, 335 pounds, and we finally got a Paul.
Watch the fumble again here, and see, the only reason that wasn't blown dead is his knee wasn't on the ground because somebody was under it.
Yep. I think Edwards probably wishes he had an option the ball. Fox got a hold of him on that last play.
And I'm telling you, Fox just gets that momentum going his way, and it's going to be awful tough to turn that around.
I'll tell you what, got 335 pounds, grabs me by the shirt, I'm going down.
I'm falling over.
Loss of about 3 on the play. Now we give it to Carter. He's trying to stamp his way out of trouble when there's just a lot of people there. Now the whistle's blowing. Carter backpedaling. He says, let me put it in reverse here and see if this works.
I think a lot of that. Now a flag comes out as there was some pushing and shoving at the end of that one. But I think they were just trying to strip Carter on that one, Randy. They were trying to hold him up and see if they could get the ball out of there.
Defense trying to make something happen as they've seen their offense cough it up the last 2 times.
Now let's see who this one's going to be against. Unsportsmanlike against Kannapolis. Second one.
That'll be half the distance. They'll move it back to about the 7 or 8 yard line.
Take a look again and see if we can pick up what happened. Now watch Carter here and see if they're trying to strip the ball away. Holding him up, trying to see if they can get it out of there. Carter's flag, though, was back in the middle of the field. Something was going on around the line of scrimmage where the penalty came.
Could have been something, some nice pleasantries exchanged somewhere down the line. There you see the time, inside 50 seconds, 3rd quarter. Now Kannapolis is going the wrong direction here. They're 3rd and 17. Or
how about this, Randy? 57 yards in penalties against the Wonders.
They give it to the fullback. There's the whistle. He's on the ground at the 16-yard line, Rock.
You really got to play don't pile on the fullback to knock him over, don't you?
You can't see him. Rock just kind of gets in underneath it. There's the big pile, roots it.
And it just keeps churning.
Very similar to the running back that, well, Ron Massey was the coach up at Kings Mountain a few years ago.
And they had, what, the Hillman kid?
Yeah, he was about 780 pounds, I think.
He was a load.
He took on everybody.
Now, this should be good field position for South Moran, Randy, but they have squandered 2 opportunities here in the 3rd quarter.
Officials will stop things. See a flag?
Yep. And that may be somebody on the sidelines. They warned him a couple of times to get back. Oh, that's going to be against South Moran.
Did they line up and pan over the...
Is it an illegal formation? Is that the call?
They had too many men on the field. That's what happened. They had 12 guys out there.
Well, that's illegal.
That cost them 5. It was 4th and 7, so...
I don't think you're going to fake down here up by, 3 touchdowns and deep in your own territory.
Yeah.
It would sure surprise them.
It certainly would. Smith standing inside his 10. There's Lanning up and around midfield. Long count. Trying to get them to draw off sides, I believe. Yeah, they will take too much time. Actually, the quarter will come to an end before they get hit with that flag. 3 are in the history books. It's A.M. Brown with a 27-6 lead over South Rowan. There's a look of just a small portion of the throng.
Hey, we're up there somewhere. See that? Hey, there we go. Way up top here in the nosebleed seats.
We got plenty of spare oxygen back here, haven't we? It's getting a little thin up here. Smith to punt. He'll have the wind at his back here. And boy, did he boom this one. Lanning backpedals, signals for a fair catch, and will make it at the Raider 41-yard line.
You know, little things often win games, Randy, and how insignificant did it seem that Kannapolis just let the quarter run out and change into the field? Well, that got them the win for their punter.
May have made an extra 10 yards difference. Morgan and company on the field. They've had 2 good-looking drives, only they lose it on the fumbles. Inside the Wonder 30, both fumbles. You get down in there, you get down inside the 15 or the 20. Just can't turn it over in the red zone.
Got to come away with something.
Norman ahead for about 2, maybe 3. 33 there, and that's Clifford White.
There you go, right up the middle goes Norman.
Shannon Davis also teaming in to make the tackle. Right now the clock is on the Wonder side. You got a 3-touchdown lead. Morgan pumps once, rolls, pressure, out of the pocket, throws back and incomplete. And there's going to be a roughing the passer call back here against Kannapolis, I believe. That one almost caught, almost intercepted too.
Yeah, Chad Keller came through, and I think he's going to be the guy who's going to get the penalty. Josh Reeves was the guy who almost intercepted at number 5, but again, an unnecessary hop. Watch it at the end. There's 79. And he just evidently kept pursuing him and put him on his back.
That's an automatic first down.
Boy, and that's going to put the Wonders up in the neighborhood of 70 yards in penalties.
And with a big penalty, moving it down to the Wonder 41-yard line. Play fake. Morgan rolls. And complete at the 35-yard line. Knocked down immediately is number 88 for the Raiders. Good catch. Heavy pressure. That's Ryan Holt.
And credit Van Weeren. Watch number 70 right there, Randy. He's blocking. You can't see him, but he's blocking 2 guys on that play right in front of his quarterback. I mean, he stood in there and made that play. I mean, if he doesn't slow down both guys, that play doesn't work.
Gain of 6 on the play. From the 35, Norman trying to get outside. He got away from 2 guys, and the 3rd guy finally came up, and that was Robert Clark, who knocked him off his pins.
A pretty good block in there to buy a little bit of extra time right there by Jarrell Heathington.
1-yard gain.
But it could have been worse.
Yeah. 10 minutes to go in the game. 3rd and 3 now for the Raiders. They must.
Well, they're in definitely 4-down situations now.
3rd time in this half they've been down on this end of the field. Nice bit of running. They didn't expect the quarterback, Andrew Morgan, who has not toted the mail tonight, and he'll get the first down.
You're right, Randy. That totally surprised him. First time he's carried it once. Just barely staying home at the end there to get him.
Heck, me and you could have run around that end. There was nobody there.
I don't know. They probably would have run us down. We might have got an inch on that one. These kids are pretty quick, Randy.
Got it. 26-yard line of Kannapolis. Morgan again rolls to buy time. And just underthrew that one. Trying to hit Ricky Childress.
On the run, he didn't get his feet set that time to deliver the ball. And the extra mustard he tried to put on it just made it go downward.
Kind of like one of those paper airplanes. You can kind of do the physics lesson.
I flunked that class.
Oh.
Badly.
Second and 10 from the 26. Norman got into the line, even a couple of yards.
He kind of lost him once he got in there.
He got in, and they kind of see something back there. Actually, it was Richie, the fullback. The Wonder defense was sorting to see who had the football.
Well, the main thing Kannapolis wants right now is to keep that clock rolling, getting down inside of 9 minutes to go in the game here.
3rd down and 8 coming up. Receiver split to the big side of the field. Coming away from center, and Morgan lucky to get the ball back, but just wanted to take off and run with it before he secured it.
Just a missed exchange there, and he was fortunate to be able to get back to it. Typically, when the ball goes down that close to the line of scrimmage, there's too many arms and legs in there for the quarterback to get to it.
Or somebody will kick it or
something.
Yeah. Lost back to the 26, and now it's 4th down. So South obviously going to go for it. 8.5 to go, clock running.
Keep an eye on Yao.
He's been open all night. Morgan looking over the middle, and Childress dropped it. Had the first down at the 15-yard line.
Just a little slant, well executed, but Ricky didn't secure the ball before he wanted to run. He had visions of 6 because he had a little bit of daylight here.
Now he had about 3 white shirts getting ready to converge on him, too. So the 3rd time inside the 30-yard line this half, and South comes away with Nothing to show for it. Now the Wonders want to run some clock. Don't you think 31 is going to get the ball a little bit? No, he's not in there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
He's the big guy.
Okay. Pretty easy to spot here. He'll block this time for Carter. He gets away from the initial wave and the second wave, and we'll get about 8 yards out of it. Chris has had a good night tonight.
There were all kinds of Raiders hacking and swatting at him, trying to get that ball out of there, but he just kept fighting. Watch. He has amazing balance, Randy. It seems like when he gets turned sideways and about to go down, people think, okay, he's falling, and then he just finds a way to keep his balance and works upfield.
Well, you remember when he first came on the scene in the Wonder Varsity program, you say, well, this kid's going to be special, and you're seeing some of his talents this year as a senior.
Yeah, 1,300 all-purpose yards a year ago, and he's running down as much of the play clock as he can.
There's Johnson. Now watch Kyle. There's the whistle. He'll have the first down out to the 40.
The momentum doesn't start to go against him until about 3 or 4 red jerseys get in there. 2 or 3 aren't enough to keep him from going the direction he wants to go. Watch him just push. When he gets down here, lowers his shoulders and just pushes. And look, there's somebody down low, got a hold of one of his legs too. He's just dragging that guy.
Lord have mercy.
He's a big, big, strong kid.
That's a week's worth on that play for the defense. Just to pull him down, huh? A big load indeed. First down for the Wonders at the 41-yard line. Edwards loses the football. Who's got it? I think Kannapolis lucky to get back on it. One of the linemen came back and got it. And, yep, number 60, Donald Gray, looked down on the ground and said, hey, what's that?
Here's Edwards. And, boy, I don't know, did the ground knock that one out?
No,
it looked like his head went down and his legs were still up.
Yeah, it was like he lost it before he got to that point.
All right, so they're going to...
Had a penalty on the play. I did not see a flag.
I didn't either, and they're going to call illegal motion, I think.
So the penalty will be stamped back to the 36. We've got 6:58 to go.
And the worst thing was, is if you're a Kannapolis fan, that stopped the clock. That's the last thing they want right now.
Yeah. Josh Barrier, the center, over the football as the Wonders break the huddle on 1st and 15. And it will be Jamal Weeks in at fullback now, or Jamel Weeks. I remember another Weeks kid in Cabarrus County, but he didn't go to Brown. He went to Concord. Pretty good athlete.
Yeah, he didn't play football.
No, but he could jump a mile.
Yeah. I remember we went up to that state tournament round at Pfeiffer, and he just dominated everybody up there. That was fun to watch.
I haven't seen a player do that in basketball since maybe a Jordan or a Magic Johnson or a Larry Bird could actually just intimidate the other team like he did. He had a half in 1 quarter. Or a game in 1 quarter, I should say. Bulls banged up at about the 42-yard line.
I think Richie finally got him down, but somebody else had a hold of his jersey, slowing him up a little bit. I think the first guy there may have been Joe Taylor, 86. Let's see. Yeah, and then here comes Richie to finish him off.
Wait, look back on this game, Woody, and you say, boy, Kannapolis must have had their way in this one, but South actually took it to the Wonders early, 6-0, and then you look at this second half, turnovers.
Well, how about the second quarter? Kannapolis won, put 3 touchdowns up in the second quarter.
Like bang, bang, bang. But turnovers and special teams, a big part of it, and that was part of our keys to the game. Here's the quick toss this time. Going to try the left side, and out to the 48, maybe the 49-yard line is Peoples. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, you know, it was interesting as we take a look at Peoples again here, fighting his way through. When you asked Coach Van Hoy about keys on Wednesday night during headliners, he didn't hesitate even a second before he said turnovers. And that has really killed him tonight.
Wonders will be forced to punt. Something haven't done a lot of here in the second half. Pretty good pressure, but Smith gets on a great kick. Manning, and the return is on. one. He's down the sidelines, bumped out at about the 30-yard line.
You know, because you're exactly right. The Raiders have shown some nice offensive execution between the 20s here in the second half, but
don't break.
yeah, and then the last time they got down there, they had a chance at keeping the drive alive, and then had a missed exchange at center that won't show up as a turnover, but nonetheless, it stopped that drive.
I wonder when they were going to play our song. It's the fourth quarter traditional Hey song. I got it in. I was worried about that. Here comes the South. We're about to.
And, you know, you might be saying, well, gosh, they got to throw now. They got to throw to get back in the game. But, you know, the defense knows that, and they can just pin their ears back and come after you. It makes it awful tough. And Kannapolis has shown you all night they're not shy about sending the linebackers, and they've been doing it effectively virtually the whole game. You got to keep those guys honest to give your quarterback a little bit of time.
And hats off to that Wonder defense. They shut them down after that first series. Morgan with all day to throw now. He's got some room in front of him, and there's a nice up and out of bounds and a late flag at the 45-yard line.
It looked like his head went right into Keith Clark there. I was wondering if he was going to be all right, but fortunately he looks like he is. And that was going to be the same thing. Personal foul against Kannapolis for hitting him out of bounds. The momentum may have carried him, but the officials evidently felt they gave him a little bit extra here at the end. Let's take a look and see.
He did hit him out of bounds, though. He tackled him.
But did he start hitting him inbounds and just ride him out? That's the key. The officials felt like he did a little more than was necessary.
8 penalties for 92 yards against Kannapolis. 3:39 left in the game. Quick toss, short side. Norman with some room and runs into a couple of white shirts after maybe 5 yards on the play. It was Josh Steele over there.
Let's take a look again on that personal foul over here on the sidelines to see if we can get a better idea of where the contact was.
Yeah, he hit him out of bounds. Yeah, that's exactly this. Both players were out. That's a good call. You got to call that, especially in front of the Raider bench. Your guys
People will be yelling if you don't.
Morgan slant.
Did he catch it?
Incomplete. Yep, a little too low. That'll stop the clock with 2:58 to go.
Ricky Childers gets up with it, but the officials say it got to the ground first, and you can see there it kind of bounded around. Now the officials are stopping play to have a meeting. Maybe one of the Kannapolis players has an equipment problem or injured or something. Maybe a cut.
Well, they're going to leave him in.
He looked at his. I was going to say he looked at his hands like who me?
He's going out reluctantly.
That's Josh Steele.
Yeah, Josh going to go on the sidelines.
Sean Johnson will come on to replace him.
It's 3rd down and 5. Morgan rolls, buying a lot of time, sets up and goes deep. He's got a receiver open in the end zone. He had 2 guys over there, and nobody could come up with it. Pinion was the guy who was trying to make the catch.
I don't think Pinion believed that the ball was going to get there. It wobbled a little bit, and he thought he was set where he was and realized at the end he was going to have to go after it. Right before that, he was stopped on the other side of the goal line and had to turn around and run after it.
Raiders down to their final play of the game, unless they can pick up at least 5 yards here, as it's 4th down. 2:50 left. Morgan going on the fade, and Childers banging. There's the late flag. There was a couple of flags.
They're all coming. They just couldn't get them out of their pockets quick enough.
Childers and Robert Clark over there were banging heads and bodies.
I think Ricky Childers just showed showed you what a senior could do there, almost like a play last week in the Bell game. He could see the ball and realize that if he just slowed down a little bit, he was going to be able to get the call because the defender didn't know where the ball was.
So South will obviously take the penalties. We watch it again.
Little pump, and then Childers. Now watch him here. He knows where he's got to get to and just kind of uses his arm there to draw the official's attention.
Yeah, he impeded his progress there from that angle. Good camera work, guys. So Robert Stuck has moved on up. What did you say last week?
He's in the advanced intern program now.
Okay. Congratulations, Robert.
He's our senior intern.
It's been a long time. Well worth it.
He's worked hard. He's earned every bit of it.
They try the fullback pop. Richie going nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage.
And now the officials are going to stop playing, and one of them almost tripped over the pile.
And his haste to call timeout. South has called it with 2:35 left in the ball game. We'll take a break. 27-6, Kannapolis on top.
Somewhere around the world,